Okay, hello. I'm going to try to walk you through the steps of how I begin to start off editing my images and to make sure that the image is improved before it goes into Paintshop Pro, or if you're using Adobe Photoshop. Now, I have my image here. The image has been saved from Facebook, transferred from the phone to the PC. And of course, with Facebook compression and the image itself, it's just low resolution. It's a very poor quality. It's going to be hard to work on. Now, what we want to do is we want to increase the resolution using Corel or Adobe. Usually I don't know if they've changed to an AI upscaling, but the old method wasn't duplicating pixels and enhancing pixels. It was to just simply stretch the pixels, and the end result was a blocky image. So I like using an AI upscaler. This one I use is Gigapixel AI. I'm going to increase it to a larger resolution. The larger the resolution, the better the apps that enhance work, because what they do is they go through and they scan the pixels, and then they'll automatically sharpen pixels. If they're using a database, they'll be able to work out with more detail that there's an eye there to create an eye from their database. The way the AI upscaling works is it reads each pixel and it recreates a pixel next to it, and it goes, okay, you want to blend in this manner, so it creates a new pixel, which creates a much better image with its upscaling process. So once that's created, we can then go through and transfer it to an application to enhance the actual image, which we'll do in a moment. But before we do, we're going to open this one up with Paintshop Pro. I'm going to do a little trick. So now we have the image opened up with Paintshop Pro. We're just going to do a little trick to help enhance some of the details. So we're going to duplicate the original. Going to change it to burning, which usually enhances a lot of the details and brings it out. But what we want to do is we want to drop that down. It's about 10 or 15. Very, very light. We don't want a lot of strength on the burning. And that's just going to help bring out some of the lines and the detail of the face. Okay, very subtle, but it's going to make a big difference in the long run. So we're going to save this now. I'm just simply going to save that as 1. We don't want to reduce the quality. We want the best quality, because that's going to work better with the AI enhancement apps. So we're going to save that as 1 layer, and then we're going to transfer this to the phone, an Android phone, because I'm not finding a lot of good programs on the PC that use the same sort of databases as the phones. The phones use the facial recognition feature of the phone to map out the eyes, the nose, the lips, and the features of the face. Some of them will go through an online database and they'll find an eye which is pretty much identical, and then it will make it identical and overlay the image and create a composite of a new image which is identical to the old image, just far better quality. That's something which, if you were to do by hand, would take a very long time, and we want to cut that down. So from here, we're going to move over to the phone. I have now transferred the photo over to my phone, and I have opened it up with the Photo Restore app, and I am doing the colorization. I only take a moment to do. It uses the processor of your phone and cuts down Paintshop Pro coloring time a lot and gives us a nice base layer to work from. Once the image is processed, we want to click the tick button. We can see our image, and then we want to save it. Once it is saved, we want to reopen the new saved image in the same application, and then we're going to use the enhance feature of the application, which will go through using the face mapping technology and help bring out and enhance the details of the photo. It can damage parts of the photo, which is why I like to use the multiple saved images to recomposite to build the things like the hat, for example. So now we're going to move over to the enhance, restore. We're going to select our photo. Saves it in the picture gallery. We're going to open that up. We're going to click the restore photo, and we're going to wait a moment. Depending on the detail of the image, it can take a lot longer. The image I'm working on and the image I've chosen is a fairly decent quality image to other ones. Some photos you have to open up with Photoshop first or Paintshop, and you have to go through and smooth out the image before running it through these applications. Now we notice we lose the ear, so we'll have to recomposite that using the old one, but we have a more 3D looking face with a lot more details on it. This is a far better image to work from than the original, even if we just take that face and composite it to the previous image to use the clothes from the previous. I'm now opening the image up with airbrush, and this is going to help us cut down on doing the skin coloring as well. So I'm just going to run it through, select our skin tone. We're going to apply the one that we find more suitable to the image. This doesn't mean that we won't be doing a lot in Paintshop Pro, but it certainly cuts down a lot of the time. Now we're going to do the lip color so it doesn't blend in with the skin tone as much, and to make it more realistic. Just want that subtle color coming through and make it look more human, more fleshy. Also just going to put a little bit of detail in the eye, which again will cut down some of our Paintshop Pro time. There we go. We're still going to have to give them the brown texture and to darken them up. But this looks much better. From there we can go to Paintshop Pro, or we can put it in another app if we needed to. So now we have our images. We've gone from our original image to our AI upscaled image to our Paintshop Pro with a slight burn-in. If you needed to, you would have done some cleaning up of the skin if it was a bad image as well before moving it onto a AI enhancement app. Then we've opened it up with our Photo Restore Android app, which is this one here in the Android Play Store. We have run it through the colorization process, selecting our photo to give us this image. Then we have run it through the enhancement of the same app, the Restore, which has given us this image here. Now we notice it's destroyed the ear in comparison to the old one, but that's okay because we can actually composite just the face of the enhanced image onto this image. And then we've gone through and we've done the airbrush and we have done the skin texture. So you can see that there, the difference between it is very, very subtle. Except for the eyes, we'll have to go through and darken them up, clean them up. From here, it's just cut down a lot of time that we're doing with Paintshop Pro. Of course, when the AI of those programs is designed for facial recognition, meaning it does a horrible job of messing up backgrounds and clothing. So we will composite that because what we want is the high definition face, because that's what we're looking for, that's what the eye is drawn to. And that is the Airbrush app on Android if you're looking for it. And from there, we can now open our image up in Paintshop Pro. Now this is the enhanced image, the final, the one that we want to work with. I've also put the one in prior to doing the enhancement where it has just been upscaled and colorized. Now we can see there is less damage on the background, the ear is still intact, the hat looks better. I personally prefer these clothings. So what we're going to do is we're just simply going to copy that layer and come over here, paste that as a new layer. There we go, done. We can close this one off so I don't get confused with it. We're going to promote our background layer and we're going to move that up. Okay. From there, it's just simply getting into it and doing the work. So I'm going to go through with the eraser and we're just going to bring back our hat and bring that old ear back. I want the old clothing back. I'll go through and I'll do the colorization layers and I'll fix all that up as I go through. So we're just going to take some time here. Okay, so now we've gone through and we have just taken that face layer, and I like the shirt so I've kept that, and we've got the HD face there, and we have composited onto our original background layer, which is AI enhanced and colorized, because the jacket and the hat obviously were better than the face enhanced version, which destroys a lot of that. I've gone through and I have just blurred that background. When you use the colorize apps, they do scan lines to color and build it up, and they do often leave lines on clothing. I don't mind it. It kind of looks like that suede effect. So we'll go back to that. We have blurred the layer. We have taken the ear and duplicated it and turned it into a burn layer just to enhance the details of the original layer. I've gone through and I've coloured the background to a tone which I'm happy with. I have coloured and enhanced the eyes to give them a deeper look. Eyes are the key to the soul. I've coloured the shirt. I have coloured the jacket and the hat with a layer. I created a burn layer for both the hat and the jacket. And then I have deepened the tone of the jacket using another burn layer to bring it out more. And then I'll move on to more finer features. And this is building it up layer upon layer to get our final image. We will go through and probably clean up some areas of the skin, of course. We'll fill in some of the hair, do the eyebrows, and we'll come through little bit by little bit until the image is complete. So that is basically how I start to do my images before I bring them across to Paintshop Pro, and hopefully people out there find it helpful to speed them along in the process of restoring old photos. Thank you for watching.